Hello, welcome to Quick. Today I'm going to be talking to you about apps, a bit of personalised browsing, sharing data between online services and your mobile phone, and then we're going to have some appearances from the Muzz and Brad. More and more companies have apps to accompany their websites. The average smartphone user, such as you, would probably have these installed to either replace a desktop counterpart or to enhance your mobile experience. And I can be fairly sure that most of you will have Facebook installed on your devices, not only to access Facebook when you're out and not near a computer, but to make it easier than a mobile site. Apps still need to communicate with servers, which are special computers where data is held. Every website will have a server or a server shared with other websites. This is how a lot of internet-based apps and websites will transfer your information around. Miniclip, one of the most well-known flash game websites, uses these principles in their games. 8Ball Pool, for example, uses data obtained from these servers to load a player's information and level and score. This allows somebody to play a game that they would play on their browser exactly the same on their mobile. If you've ever used Google to search for something, you'll probably notice how some of the websites will show adverts based on what you have previously researched. This is down to cookies and not the edible variety. The information contained in cookies can be from absolutely anything, but it's normally used to keep you logged in, or in examples like Amazon, where items you've previously searched for or purchased are categorised and then used to recommend future products or just for adverts on websites. Recently, EU laws have changed, meaning that websites can no longer just collect information and store it in cookies. They have to ask the user's permission beforehand. The idea of personalised browsing is based on cookies and signed-in accounts, and mostly occurs on the associated websites. Be that if you're signed in on Google, you will receive Google recommendations, or if you're on Amazon, you will receive Amazon's recommendations. Other examples where you might find personalised browsing is where a company has offered APIs, which are bits of code which allow other people to use their recommendations or other things which they offer in their own websites or apps. Amazon offers APIs which allows web developers to offer adverts based on the cookies which are stored in the browser. These also link up to the Amazon servers where recommendations for products can be found. Similarly, Google offer APIs, but for adverts. These are known as Google AdSense, and these can be placed on almost any website providing Google approves it.
In recent times, Android smartphones have replaced the historical dominant Apple iOS systems in their popularity. Android has adapted from a simple mobile operating system into powering tablets, internet-compatible televisions, and even dedicated game systems such as the Audi. Devices such as the HP Envy are crossovers between laptops and tablets, combining the functionality of a laptop with the simplicity of a tablet. Mobile developers Samsung have released Galaxy Note, a crossover of tablets and phones with 5 to 6 inch screen sizes. These devices, aka phablets, have met with some success in the market. However, they are seen as controversial due to them being too big to be a phone and too small to function as a tablet. Microsoft released the Surface in 2012 in order to gain a foothold in the tablet market. Surface has met mixed reviews, mainly due to its inability to run existing Windows programs. Surface failed to take off in the way Microsoft would have hoped. Recently, the UK has shown a larger shift trend into smartphones from feature phones, aka dumb phones. This trend has also been replicated in countries such as France, Germany, the United States and Japan. Over the past year, the amount of users on tablets have increased, with the United Kingdom and the United States showing a double in the amount of people using it. Following this trend, netbook sales have also been on the rise. However, Chromebook sales have been incredibly low over the last 2 years, with representing just 0.023% of the world's browser population. Internet-enabled smart TVs have seen a large increase in the popularity in France, with 19% of all televisions sold being a smart TV, considerably higher than its rival Japan, with 6%. Over 80% of people in economically developed countries have frequent access to the internet, with 90% of those using laptops in these countries using it solely for internet browsing. 97% of tablet owners in Japan will use it for internet browsing, which is shocking compared to the 86% that will use it in France. Smartphones are used less as internet browsers, with below 61% of people in Germany, 65% of people in France, and up to 93% of people in Japan. The UK and the US come in at 77 and 78% respectively. With 1,000 activations a minute, Android phones have become the largest phone with market share in the first quarter of 2013.
People now access the internet on a range of different mobile devices, making web design problematic. Every device has a different screen size and a different resolution, making it hard for web designers who have to try and make their devices compatible for as many different websites as they can. Recently, mobile web browsers have evolved, and the browsers can now reformat web pages on a device-by-device basis, making text and images more easily viewable on different sized screens. However, this can be problematic as it causes misformatting in images and text. One website, for instance, Microsoft's Outlook webmail service for mobile devices, has a clean, very nice login interface with the username and password boxes easily visible. However, once you get in, it takes you straight to the desktop version of the Outlook service, which is messy and clunky to use on a mobile phone, and I'd imagine if I was running an iPhone, it would probably crash and catch fire. This is surprising from a company like Microsoft, one of the best known companies in technology. From them I expected something a little better than a crudely put together mobile website. Some developers, however, have found ways to make their mobile websites compatible with as many devices as possible. For instance, most forums have now signed up to a service known as Tapatalk. Tapatalk is one universal app built specifically for iOS and Android mobile platforms. Many forum admins sign up to this service, and it supports the most popular forum software including MyBB, PHPBB and vBulletin. The Tapatalk service not only allows admins of forums to make their websites available for a wide range of mobile devices, but it also allows the end user to browse all the forums that they frequently use on one universal, easy-to-use app. Most websites are built using a cascading style sheet, or CSS. Most web designers now create several CSSs for desktop websites and for mobile websites, with the mobile website looking typically less cluttered and all in one column. It can be quite hard to optimize a traditional website for mobile viewing. For instance, most commercial websites gain revenue from advertising, which has to be made less intrusive than traditional desktop advertising.
So, what exactly is interactive media at the moment? Wikipedia defines interactive media normally as products and services on digital computer-based systems which respond to the user's actions by pressing content such as text, graphics, animation, video, audio, games, etc. It is in fact more than this, in the regard that it incorporates all aspects of the media industry. Interactive media at present mostly refers to software a user can interact with, but in the recent years technological events have occurred, which means that we can expand our possibilities of what we can do. Google Glass is an excellent example of pragmatism in the industry, in which the user can have a heads-up display for his Android-powered glasses. The future 10 years could mean that interactive media describes the relationship between users and their internet-enabled hardware as opposed to the software which powers them. An example being internet-enabled refrigerators that would report to a smartphone the current state of food or any other things you may need to pick up. That should sum it up. The previous example was sort of following the principles of the Internet of Things, which is quite an interesting concept. So, I'll leave it over to the Muzz to explain that bit. Thank you.
The Internet of Things is a principle by which everyday objects, such as fridges, light bulbs, and other household electronics, are connected to the Internet. The Internet of Things is already starting to happen on a small scale. However, the grander idea is to have households in which every piece of electronic equipment is connected and communicate intelligently with each other. Eventually, the Internet of Things will become integrated into major cities and towns, where objects such as buses and cars and parking spaces will be able to relay data to each other to inform humans how long it will take them to get home, whether there's a parking space available where they want to park, and when the next bus is. Within the home, devices will be able to manage themselves intelligently, or they can be controlled from one central point, such as a smartphone app or a computer in the household. Within the home, the Internet of Things includes things like ambient lighting, and a fridge which could report to you its stock levels and even the dietary information about the products it contains. In the future, it's predicted that we'll have internet-connected, artificially intelligent robots that are capable of cleaning the household and mowing the lawn. Although the Internet of Things is in the infant stages of development, it's expected that within 20 years that the majority of electronic appliances within the household will be able to be remotely controlled.